And that was Paul Simon with You Can Call Me Al, a record that I've never really understood the meaning of. In fact, there's quite a few Paul Simon records that I don't really understand the words. I've got a fantastic guest with me, sitting opposite me at the moment. He's called James Leeward. Good morning, James.
Morning, Emma.
Thank you so much for coming in at this early hour. You were just saying it's not a time that you're usually up, is it?
I don't think I've ever been up. I certainly haven't been out at this time.
But you have, in your youth, you probably were out all night and going home at this time.
Yes, in my clubbing days.
In your clubbing days. And we were just saying that coming through Brighton, there's so many people that are going home at this time, aren't there?
Well, that's what really surprised me. I've just driven over into the gay village in St James's Street area. And it was quite busy,
it's heaving,
actually, and very noisy.
And noisy. And have they got breakfasts going and things like that?
That's right.
Oh, wow. Perhaps we should go down there afterwards. Do you want to go down there and have breakfast?
I'm trying to look after my figure. When we used to come out the clubs, we used to go to the Market Diner. Yes, which was open all night. Yeah. And the market people who delivered all the fruit and vegetables would sit next to all of us. You and I probably sat next to each other. There we go.
Had our breakfast. So do tell me something about yourself. Are you a native? I can tell the tiniest little burr in your accent to suggest that you're not a native of these parts.
No, I come from Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool, yeah.
And so...
one of the best accents, actually.
Yes.
You should have hung on to a bit more of that accent.
It was knocked out of us.
Was it?
I was a cathedral choir boy in Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
And so 5 days a week, we were in the cathedral and the elocution lessons worked. My sister and my brother are much, much broader than me.
Okay. And you were a very talented musician, weren't you?
Yes, I was an oboe player.
Yes.
That came... from being in the cathedral choir. They paid for our music education.
Fantastic.
So I had great tutoring in Liverpool.
Yeah, you must have done, because you went to the Royal College, didn't you?
Went to the Academy.
Oh, the Academy.
Yeah, went to the Academy in London. And I studied with Hand de Vries in Amsterdam for a while.
Well, I never, yes. And you studied conducting, didn't you?
Yeah, I studied conducting as well. And I used to love doing that. Yes.
And did you want to be a conductor?
No, but I always wanted to make music that way.
Right.
One of my oboe teachers was Evelyn Rothwell, who was the wife of Sir John Barbaroli.
Wow.
And she
above.
used to say to me, she says, "You're a fine oboe player, but you don't want to work, do you?" And I didn't. I just wanted to play the oboe.
Right.
And so I used to do the big competitions.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually want the slog of sitting in in an orchestra or anything like that.
It's a hard life.
Yeah.
Actually, orchestral musicians get quite ill, don't they?
Absolutely.
They get
stress,
repetitive strain injury and stress and things like that. So then you decided to do something else. So what did you go and do then?
Well, I had a stroke when I was very young.
Okay.
And that damaged the right-hand side of my body.
That's devastating for a musician.
I lost all of the muscles on the right side of the face around the embouchure, which basically did away with the career.
Heavens above, yes.
And so I stopped playing. I carried on teaching. I was teaching oboe at the London College of Music. So I came to live in Brighton.
Okay. And you were teaching then? That's when you first came down, is it?
Yeah.
And do you teach now?
No.
No.
It wasn't good for my mental health, I have to say.
Right.
Because I made the decision... I could have retrained my embouchure to go the other way around. There was a very famous oboist at the time called Leon Goossens who had a car accident, smashed his face, and he learned to turn the embouchure so the control came with the other lip.
Wow!
I could have done that,
goodness.
but I didn't want. If I was going to play, I only wanted to play well. I didn't want to play badly.
Yeah.
And that was the reason I chose to stop.
Yeah.
And teaching all of these talented kids, that ended up being quite depressing, actually.
Yes.
Because it just kept reminding me of what
could have been.
What could have been, yeah.
Well, anyway, oboe is, the world of oboe and music has made a loss, but we've made a gain here down in Brighton. We'll talk a little bit more about your life after this.
Okay.
9 and 12. And my guest at the moment is James Leeward. Hello again, James.
Hello, Emma.
So you were telling us you came down to Brighton, and let's just jump forward a little bit to when a festival called Gay Pride was going in Brighton a few years ago, and it was struggling a little bit financially, wasn't it?
Yeah, when I arrived in Brighton, I started a music publishing company.
Okay.
And so I did that for a couple of years, and that became quite successful.
So you're very business orientated.
I am now. I wasn't then.
Well, you must have been if it was very successful.
When I look back, I don't know.
It was
how
all luck.
It was,
Nothing,
yes. And
nothing
when
but
I look
luck.
back, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how it all came together.
Right.
But
okay.
I started the publishing company, and I bought a printing company, which I knew nothing about, which I had over in the train station at Port Slade.
Oh, wow.
And so we used to rent that off British Rail, and we had the printing presses in there.
Yeah.
And we used to print the music for ourselves and for the West End shows in London.
Right.
And with having the printing presses, I was able to do the magazine.
Right,
And
which is G-Scene
which is
magazine.
G-Scene magazine.
And that is basically a gay magazine of
Yes,
Brighton.
it's the LGBT magazine for the whole of the South Coast, really.
Okay.
It's been going since 1991.
Was it one of the very first?
In Brighton it was, yes. And then
I suppose there were others, weren't there?
the Argus started a gay magazine.
Did it? That's extraordinary. Yes, I
Yes,
didn't know
it was
that.
at the time. Yes, the Argus started a gay magazine at the time, and fortunately, my advertisers stayed loyal to me,
to you.
and theirs went broke. but they then sold it for £1 to the people that were running Pride at the time.
Oh, I see.
And
So they were sort of almost rivals of yours,
Oh,
were they?
absolutely,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And I got on very well with the editor of the Argus at the time, Simon Bradshaw, and I think he was quite uncomfortable that decision had been made.
Yeah.
But there was a view that the pink pound was very powerful in town, and I kept saying to them, "Well, I don't see it because all the people I deal with, they've only got X amount of money in their budgets to play with,
Yeah.
and you can't, they haven't got it to advertise in a variety of different magazines or whatever."
Yeah.
So
It's a
that
small
was my link.
world. It's the gay scene in Brighton is quite small, isn't it? It's sort of everybody seems to know each other, and I know it's grown over the years, but certainly when it comes to magazines, you probably couldn't have 5 or 6 magazines. They talk about the power of the pink pound, but that's
No, and people. A loyalty was created to the brand.
Yeah.
So over the 21 years, people have tended to trust the magazine, and they've trusted the campaigns that we've run in the magazine.
Yeah. So anyway, you helped out with Pride.
Yeah.
And it's become a lot more professional, hasn't it? I mean, they charge for admission. At one stage, it was getting bigger and bigger, wasn't it? And
it was Pride historically was free.
Yes.
And the part of the problem was that it got bigger and bigger. So it became a victim of its own success.
Yeah.
And with the magazine, we were responsible in reclaiming 3 Prides back for the community.
Yeah.
Because as a Pride becomes more successful, it becomes less transparent.
Yes.
And that's what's happened each time the Prides got into trouble.
Because the criticism that I've heard from people is that you're charging now, which it used to be free, but you're saying that there was a huge benefit from that as well. And also it has to be cleaned up as well, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, I myself have nothing to do with the running of Pride, but I do the scrutiny.
Yes.
And the difference now is that at any time I can go in and ask questions.
Yeah.
And
that's very important.
It
isn't
is
it?
very important because when that was happening before, the shutters just went up.
Yes. But also, whoever knew it was going to be this big and whoever knew it was going to last this long. And now we know probably that it will always be here, don't we, in Brighton?
Well, I think that the present people have really got their act together.
Yeah.
At its heyday as a free festival, there was 162,000 people on Preston Park.
Yes.
And that's very,
I live near Preston Park.
I remember being there last year, and it was a nightmare.
And there were some problems, like, for example, I remember one year it was very, very rainy and there was lots of mud. lots of accidents, people having broken limbs where they'd slipped in the mud because of the dancing. And of course, when you get so many people like that, you've got to get the emergency services.
Right.
So, you know.
And now, you see, now the numbers are controlled because people have to buy a ticket.
Yes.
And a pound of every single ticket is guaranteed. It's ring-fenced and guaranteed to go to the Rainbow Fund, who then give grants to local LGBT organisations who provide effective frontline services to LGBT people in the city.
Yeah, but I feel that it's changed quite a lot because I feel that it used to be very much a gay festival. I mean, you know, obviously I'm straight and I used to go along to it and a lot of my friends did, but now it's everybody, all the youngsters seem to go to it. Do you feel that way?
Well, sort of, yes, but again, it's where you go on the park.
Yes,
because you know, the kids go to watch the main stage.
Yes.
So this year they had some really big names on the main stage, and that becomes the draw.
Yeah.
You know, people of my age tend to go to the Bears area or somewhere like that, and they're very, very gay.
They're properly gay.
Yeah, they're properly gay.
But
That's where the gays go.
I was thinking about quite an amusing thing that I heard of. A young friend of mine worked for a call centre, and that weekend, everybody at the call centre, it's full of youngsters that work there. They all wanted that weekend off to go to Pride.
Yeah.
And of course, the staffing was difficult. So the company sent out a memo saying only gay people get priority to have the time off over this weekend. And instantaneously, everyone who worked there said they were gay.
Fabulous.
And I thought, that's wonderful, isn't it? It's reached that stage in Brighton where there's literally no stigma at all for younger people, which was why Pride was called Pride in the first place,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Talk about achieving its aim.
Yeah. Well, and Brighton's always been the same for me. It's been very accepting. But you know, you can go 10 miles outside Brighton and
it's different.
You get a completely different reaction.
Yeah. And you support some charities,
yeah,
don't you?
Well, with the Rainbow Fund,
yeah,
we give grants to local groups.
But also Sussex Beacon. When I clicked on your website for G-Scene magazine, there was a petition there, but also people can donate to that as well, can't they? It's a very good cause.
Well, the Beacon's losing NHS funding. And so they issued a statement in December saying they could close in June.
And this is the
HIV, yes, the HIV centre. And so one of their supporters, Adam, who sings in the Gay Men's Chorus, started the petition to petition the Secretary of State for Health, Jeremy Hunt, to intervene. Now, I don't know how that's all going to unravel. But I have a duty with the magazine to give people that information, and that's what we've been doing, in that we've been making sure that people keep up to date with what's going on there.
Well, it's right on the website, so it's really worth clicking on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.